Alrighty folks, I wanted to bring you out here to show you some lessons that we can learn from nature, especially when it comes to our wild plants. Now, this is that wild mustard. I think it's called charlock, but I wanted to show you. You see the little fluffs of seed, okay? Quite a few of our wild plants, milkweed and all of our wild lettuces and thistles and this little charlock wild mustard plant, even though it's not like the others at all, but you see how the little puffs of seed fly. Now, if we observe that in nature, then we're going to know that in this immediate area right here is where more of these seed will fall. That's why when this plant got to be a certain height, I just broke it over so that the seed would fall right there. Now, all of these wild plants, they seed whenever. They stay out here through heat and freezing cold and ice and floods and all kinds of stuff. So I don't want y'all to think in terms of when we plant the seeds and when we want to cultivate the plants, I don't want y'all to think in terms of these being delicate. Now, they can be finicky, but they're hardy. This plant I've never done anything with. I'm pretty sure it came in a bunch of other stuff that I brought up, and it just seeded, and I love it. And I eat the leaves off. They've got a good mustardy flavor. I do eat the blooms as well. They taste real good. I put them on my flour salads, but yeah, I just munch them while I'm out here in the yard. But I want y'all to think in terms, especially as we're doing this with the wild lettuce, it has these same like little blooms, these little seed. And so when we're planting the seed, because when I start harvesting seed, I'm going to make all that available for y'all. When we do the seed, we can't cover them up with light, for one thing, because most of them are light activated. So we have to think about, okay, let's just scatter them. Let's just scatter them somewhere on the ground close to where we need them. Now, if you had a pot, now one of the other things that I want to talk about, if you don't have a yard, you've got an apartment, you've got a little pot. These plants seem to love to be caught in with grasses and other things. And I am so proud of Kenny, y'all. He had a line right here. I'm sure it was his weed eater guy. He made him an imaginary line right here next to my house, and he left my clover alone. I'm sure it's because he could smell it, and he knew it was good smelling. This stuff, if I could sleep in this every night, I would. But back to our seed. So, where I have found the seed has been where they've been caught. Those little fluffs have been caught by grasses and by other plants. So we need to think in terms of that. So if you have a pot, I would suggest that you go out and you dig, whatever the size of the pot is, some topsoil. And what you do is you put your shovel down and make your shape out, and then you cut up under that, and then you lay like a piece of sod, you lay that on top of your pot. Then you can scatter these little persnickety seed out, and they've got a place to catch. And of course, all my clover in here is nitrogen fixers.